Hi there, this is Samrina. This video is about why invest in pre-construction properties. To start off, there's 6 reasons why you should invest into pre-construction properties. The first reason is that you don't need as much saved to invest into pre-construction property, which means that when you are buying a resale property, you have to have 15 to 20% down to be able to purchase that property. Some people assume that 5% or 10% is good. Sometimes it is, but most of the time, or on average, buyers end up spending 15 to 20% to purchase any resale property. Pre-construction properties, on the other hand, have a different system. When you invest in a pre-construction property, they have a structural breakdown on how you pay for that property. So you're putting down 5% in 60 days, 5% in another 180 days, 5% on, say, 450 days, and then 5% on occupancy. So you have a more flexible cash flow, and you are more prepared to take on the occupancy when the time comes. So you don't have to do that entire 20% down right away. So it gives you the time to buy what you need, and you might have to wait a bit, but it still gives you what you need. That is the first reason. So you don't have to invest the entire 15-20% right away. You can actually collect it over time and pay it. Now, every developer is different, so every developer will have a different occupancy structure. So that's one thing that you have to keep in mind, that it depends on which developer you go with. They all have different structures, but they're very similar to what I have explained. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is that it is cheaper than resale. The reason it is cheaper than resale is because when you're doing a resale property, you are looking to close the property, and then you have those closing costs that come in. So you have to think about your lawyer's fee and your land transfer tax fee and all of those inspection fees, and so you have to think about all of those costs that come into a resale property, because you're probably going to close in like 60-90 days, and you're going to have it, and you're going to be paying those fees. A lot of people don't realize that when they're collecting their down payment, they say, oh, we get a lot of calls and stuff, and they say, hey, we have $50,000 and we would like to purchase a house. When you say you have $50,000, you have to understand that there is closing costs involved. So if you have an extra, in my recommendation, you should have an extra $10,000 just to cover your closing costs. So when you say you have 50, technically for down payment you have 40, and then you have your extra 10,000 for your closing costs, and that would be a resale property. Now, when we talk about buying an investment property, we're talking about getting money from a property over time. So it is not a short-term investment. Real estate is not a short-term investment. Real estate is a long-term investment. So you're not looking for immediate returns. You're not thinking, I'm going to buy in April, I'm going to sell in October, unless it's like a flip property, then it's different. But an investment property is something that you invest in, and over time it grows. So that is what you're looking at when you talk about investment properties. Now, the difference in a resale property and a pre-construction property is that the rental amount is very different. Now, so when you look at a resale property, you're saying, say, in a particular condo building, you bought a condo, and say the rental is about $1,400, but say somebody on the top floor is getting $1,600. Somebody on the bottom floor is getting $1,200. So, in a resale property, in a condo building that may be a little bit older, yes, there is an average amount of what people are willing to pay, but because some properties are, say, updated, so people are willing to pay a little bit higher rent. However, but that doesn't happen in a pre-construction property, because a pre-construction property is through a developer. So the price is the price. So when you pay, say the price is $450, it's $450. When the price is $250, it's $250 for a certain condo. And everybody who buys that kind of condo will pay the same price, and they will have a very similar interest structure for their mortgage. They will have very similar insurance. So somebody who's renting in a brand new building, they're looking at paying pretty much the same rental that the next door guy has, or the fourth floor has, or the sixth floor has, unless you have, like, I don't know, better views or something. But you're not paying more than $50 or $60 more. You're paying still the same amount. So it's not a very big difference, and the carrying cost of that pre-construction property is usually a little bit better, because for the people who are buying in a condo building, they're looking to buy to rent it out, right? Now that's what an investment property would be. So when they're renting it out, they are renting it to say young professionals or a family or whoever may want to take it, and what happens is that rental property covers the cost of you carrying the property. So now your mortgage and your insurance and your condo fees gets covered in with the rental they give you. So there's no competition. There's less competition between other apartments. So you still can carry the house, and it's not difficult to get that rent you're looking for, right? Because everybody has the same kind of cost to cover, that the cost to carry the condo. So it's not very difficult to find a renter, because a renter will just be like, oh, I want to be on the 8th floor or the 4th floor or the 6th floor, but that's it. There's no difference. Like, they'll still pay the same amount. So you're not in competition with anybody. So for that reason, it kind of is cheaper, because you help carry the cost. It's not like the renters will help you carry the cost. You're not going to be paying it out of your pocket thinking, oh my god, I couldn't get rented, or I couldn't rent my older condo because the guy upstairs has renovated his unit and I couldn't do it, or so for all of those reasons, pre-construction is amazing for renters, and obviously an investment property. The third reason is that it's a steady long-term investment. Now, when I say it's a steady long-term investment, it means that you're basically looking at, say, for 4 or 5 years, your income is steady, right? So regardless of the fluctuations in the market, so like if your house is going up every year, like your condo is going up every year by a certain price, it's not affecting your costs, in the sense that when your renter comes in and he gives you a certain amount of rent, for 4 or 5 years, that kind of stays stable. So every year you have, say every month you have to pay, your cost to carry the unit is $1,100, and your renter is giving you $1,600. So that will continue for the next 4 or 5 years. Like, it's not going to change much, and the market going up and down will not affect your rent, because your rent is based on a completely different scale. So what happens is that as your renter is helping you carry the costs of your unit over the next 4 years or 5 years, and then you eventually decide to sell, you're still getting the return back with the increase that happens in the market. And pre-construction properties usually increase faster than resale properties, only because people prefer buying a newer property. So it does help to buy in a pre-construction, because it is a long-term steady investment. Fourth reason is it's basically a hands-off business. If you know the right neighborhood to buy in with the right price and by the right builder, then you are looking at not really spending anything in that unit, because the builder will have all of those extra things done for you, and you'll have a renovated unit, and for the time that you have the unit, you're basically hands off. You don't have to do anything. You just the unit pays for itself. It basically grows, and it with time, and you get your return on investment eventually. So yeah, it's totally a hands-off business plan. You just buy the unit, put it on rent, and it grows, and the renter covers your costs. The fifth reason is that you spend less, but you get more back. So like compared to other investments that exist, like mutual funds or RESPs or RRSPs or stocks, right? You're basically putting in the money, the smaller amount of money into the mutual funds, for example, right? You put in 10,000, right, and it grows. So you get an return on investment based on the 10,000 that you put in. In real estate, when you purchase a property, pre-construction, any pre-construction property you purchase, what happens is your growth is not based on the 15 or 20 or the 10% that you put in. It's based on the 100% price of the unit. So including what the bank gave you, the mortgage amount, even on that you're getting an increase in investment. And this is again pretty standard for resale or pre-construction, but it is still better than other investments. So if you're thinking you're doing mutual funds, or you think you're doing RRSP or RESP or something like that, you are making more money by investing in real estate than you are making in other kinds of investments. So it gives you a better return on your investment. So that is another really good reason to invest in pre-construction. So that's my 5 reasons to invest in pre-construction. If you guys have any questions, you guys are free to call me or message me. I'm on Facebook all the time, or you can email me or visit my website if you want more information. Alrighty, well, take care. Bye.